Before we get into today's episode here of G1's Adventure, I want to quickly just tell you guys something that the reason why this video took a little bit longer than usual is actually because I spent this last week recording a completely different video. However, what ended up happening is I kind of split the video into two parts. The first part, which I did on I forget which day it was exactly, but I spent that day actually terraforming the land first, and then the next day I came back and actually built everything. The video where I actually built everything, which I will show you guys in a minute, got corrupted on both my computer and my laptop, so I couldn't edit the video. So yeah, I tried multiple hours trying to get it back, and unfortunately I was not able to get it back. But what I was able to make during that video was a custom little area here for the nether portal. Now it's basically kind of something simple. The video wasn't going to be too long, but the general idea is that this is kind of like a science area, like a kind of like science experiment where they're kind of toying with the nether portal here. In the water over here, the river, we kind of have like those water wheels that like used to generate power back in the olden days. I don't know if they still actually use it anymore, but yeah, so it's being transferred energy or power to the copper bulbs, which then gets transferred energy or power to the end rods here. Why am I saying energy? I don't know, but that's kind of the trend going here. So you have these end rods transferring the power to these things going up. It's powering the portal here, but also sending energy and kind of transfers to the thing here. So yes, that makes sense. Getting the energies from the actual portal, the purple stuff here, is being sent to here. So that's kind of the lore for this area. It's nothing too crazy, but I do really like, usually what I do with the nether portal, what I've been doing in my past couple of worlds, is just make it look like it's corrupting the land nearby. So just adding some netherrack, adding some of like the blue and the red nylium and stuff like that. I decided I want to do something completely different. I think that it's not the biggest project in the world, but I definitely really like the way that this looks, especially considering that I do use that actually quite a lot, because that does take me to the nether roof, and on the nether roof I do have a portal leading to the end. Now I'm very excited for today's episode because it was actually supposed to be the last episode with the area over here, but today is going to be the first episode where we actually start working on the other half of the world over here. So this area that we are at is over the kind of cliffside area that we've seen over here that's kind of been in the background of the videos. The reason why I'm really excited, by the way, is I love these mountain peaks right here. I don't think I'm going to build anything on them. I honestly don't really know. I just love the view, like the way that they go so tall. It's really just incredible. And what I would like to actually do one day, and I'm probably going to have to do this off camera, honestly, is all of these trees here I actually want to get rid of, and then I want to make kind of one giant town. Now that is subject to change. One giant massive town, I mean, if we just look at the mini map, if we made a town span this entire section here, it would probably fill this entire section here, because I might want to go this way as well. But I don't know. Well, I don't know yet. That's kind of just my plan. I haven't finalized that just yet. However, what we are going to be working on today is a small little area right here. Now, I think I've showed you guys this before. I actually don't really remember. But we have this kind of opening here, like a small little mini cave leading to this area right here. So I think the idea is going to be that we're going to decorate the cave to make it look kind of nice. I think I'm going to do a kind of custom cave. So what I honestly might just do, honestly, is replace any gravel and ores maybe, and then just put in some cobblestone and andesite. Honestly, I think that's really it that I really want to do. But I also want to open up this section here, because I do want to connect the water from here to here, because then if we look at it from the mini map, if we did that, we would be able to go directly from here all the way throughout here. Now the idea is that we're actually going to be building a small village kind of right here. So we're going to do some custom terraforming, which I'm going to be doing a time lapse for, which I'm very excited to do. I'm wanted to try a time lapse for a few weeks now. But yeah, so the idea is going to be that we're going to have a village right here, and then I might end up doing some terraforming probably right around here, honestly, just to open it up just a little bit more, because we have this natural river here, which is great for storytelling, right? That's just a way for, you know, trade possibilities, right? As far as like the lore of the story goes, right? We could have the village here trading with all of the other towns over here, and then the main one over here. But yeah, that way we can have this village here trade with the towns that we already built over here via that kind of the cave thing right here, and then any other towns, like, you know, quote unquote towns that we build in the world over there, we can just technically connect it through over there as well. I'm super excited, honestly. I really want to get started with this. I have a lot of ideas with this new area right here. I'm so excited. So I think what I'm going to do is boot up the flashback mod and just get to terraforming this area first. I think I might do this area over here. I'm not too sure. I don't think we're going to decorate anything here first. I'm just going to, for now, focus solely on on the terraforming stuff. So let me quickly go ahead and get started with that right away. Alrighty, I have returned after a small little terraforming break. Now, I am going to be honest, I kind of don't know what I want to do. So the original idea was going to be that we have the village kind of on this smaller section right here. But then kind of what I noticed is that we could actually make the village on the upper part right here, kind of make this kind of like a cliff. And then we could put like warnings like, beware of the cliff here, right? And then maybe down here we have like the actual docks or something like that. Kind of similar to what we did over here, right? So like we kind of have like the actual village on the upper part, and then we had the docks kind of area down here. We could do something very similar to that, but obviously the difference being that it would be in a smaller area. Now what I also did do, as you saw, was I did connect the water in through here as well. I really enjoyed the way that this looks. Honestly, I think it does just make more sense that it is connected. I think the only thing that I might end up doing off camera, I don't think I'm gonna do this right now, is I might like lower this bit a little bit more so that it's kind of down to that level again. But again, that's not something that I need to do right now. But yeah, so I kind of don't know what I want to do as far as like the village goes, because I kind of want like a lake, like a riverside village, like literally right here. So I don't know, maybe we can figure out a new way to terraform it instead of making it like a cliff, unless we actually push this even further back. So what we could do is kind of keep the cliff idea, right? But as you can see right here, we kind of have this little spot here. Oh yeah, this is where I used to plug up some lava. We kind of have like a spot here where it kind of just naturally becomes a cliff anyway, kind of like right here. We could do kind of the same thing right here, kind of make this area look like it's a cliff. And then all of this land down here can be pushed up to this wall right here. Right, so I think what I would like to do is, instead of doing it on this wall so that it's one giant wall here, I might do kind of like stages maybe. So like I might start the next wall here, so then we go straight down here up to a certain block, and then we go in one again. But I could actually see us going kind of around this, like following this top part up here. So here, let me quickly try making this area look more like kind of like a hill area. Let me quickly do that, because I think that would help explain what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I just spent like, what, 2 minutes doing something? I don't even know. Kind of just something like this. Now I think I kind of like the idea of actually bringing this up one more. Yeah, I think I kind of like that just a little bit more. But I mean, I didn't do it on this side. I want to make this area look natural as well. But that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Like we kind of just have a cliff area here. So what if from the bottom over here, we just went out all the way through here? That way we have a lot of space back here to work with. Like this village, instead of just going from there to there, could go from there all the way back to there. Okay, that I think I like a lot more. The only thing I'm not sure how it would work is the cave area right here. So we might have to get creative with this area here. But yeah, now that we know what we're going to do, let's get back to working. Alrighty everybody, I have returned from the terraforming session, and here is what I was able to do after the whole terraforming thing. Now I ended it just as I finished digging everything out. I did a little bit more details and decorations. One thing that I still need to do though that I kind of forgot to do until I hit record was this little section here. I want to eventually replace this and replace all the sand here with dirt instead, just so that it looks a little bit more consistent. But yeah, as you can see, I made a little bit of custom land up here. Now the idea being that I kind of want it so that when you look at it from this side here, it kind of also looks like that area up there, right? Because before it kind of just looked a lot like this, where honestly I'm not really a big fan of this, so I did kind of build custom land going up. I think it actually looks really nice. I do really like it. And then as you can see, I did also do what I said I was going to do originally in the cave area here by adding in some andesite and cobblestone. I really like this actually. I try not to overdo it. Like a problem that I often have is when I start doing these, or like when I do this for walls where I make it out of like stone or something like that, and then I go back in with cobblestone, I often will just end up replacing all of the stone, which I really didn't want to do. I kind of like the idea of having like the stone be like the main block and then have the cobblestone and the andesite be kind of texturing blocks. I think the only thing is maybe I might continue this going up over here because this wall's kind of bigger and flatter, so I might do like a couple more smaller spots here. But yeah, that's kind of what I've done so far. Now the next thing that we're going to work on is the village. Now what I'm kind of wanting to do is I might make this village out of oak logs. That might be the wood choice that we use, only because we've actually haven't used oak. Originally, if you guys have been watching since the beginning, you guys will know that this town over here was originally going to be made out of oak, but then I ended up transferring it or switching it out for spruce. But if you notice, we kind of only ever use oak over here, and honestly these were kind of just filler houses, like kind of just there so that it was a village. I want to actually make like a full-on detailed oak kind of village here. However, in order to start that, I'm gonna need some oak. I don't have any, so let me quickly go ahead and get some oak. When we come back, we're actually gonna start off by mapping out where I want each of the houses to go, maybe out of stone or something like that. Let me go ahead and get some of the oak logs really quick. Alrighty, I have returned and I have a decent bit here of the logs here. Now this isn't actually too many logs, but what I actually think I want to do is use the planks instead. Like I don't think I'm gonna be using any logs. Like I might keep a stack here, but honestly I kind of plan on just using the normal plank instead for most of the build. Now the plan is going to be that we're going to be building the houses kind of higher up like this. So rather than like, you know, digging it into the ground, I actually liked when we made the last episode when we were working on this area over here, the filler houses that I made right here. I actually like that they were kind of one block higher, right? You had to go up into it. Like I usually always just make them go into the ground, like especially you can see like right here, I kind of just make it so it's in the ground, but I actually really like kind of raising it up by a block. So I want to try for this village doing the same thing as well. So I think the idea is going to be that when we actually build the houses, I think we'll build the floors out like this for planning, and then when we go in we can replace whatever, right? So like let's say we want to put like, you know, cobblestone in the corners here or something like that. Now once again, I'm not going to be decorating the inside of these houses. I've decided that I, at least for now, don't want to do that. Maybe in a couple years or in a couple months, who knows, I'll come back and decide that I want to decorate all the insides of my houses. For now I want to just worry about the outside, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Alrighty, so I think these are all of the houses. Now we have a lot of them which are 5x5, you know, you kind of have like a bunch of these who are 5x5, and then we have a couple ones here that are kind of interestingly shaped. So we have a 3x3, a 3x3, a 4x4, which is kind of going to be interesting, and then we technically, this one here is actually two 5x5s, so that'll be really interesting. I actually think it's 5x5s. Yeah, so it's a 5x10. So what this one's going to be is we're going to do one of those houses that are kind of like split in half. You know those houses where there's like, you know, a set of garages on each side, a door, and then they're like they look the exact same. We're kind of going to make that look like this. Now I think this is enough houses. Now what I would like to try and do, and we're gonna work together on one of these houses here. I want to try using, let's do it on one of the 5x5s. Let's do it on this one here. Why not? So let's see how if we can use the stone bricks to kind of make this look kind of interesting. Now what if we start by replacing the entire side of it with stone bricks, or we could even do a combination of the stone brick and the cobblestone. Like maybe we can do cobblestone there, right, and then stone brick kind of wrapping it around, right? and then we can go there, which honestly doesn't look bad. Actually, that wouldn't be so bad because then we can have the cobblestone kind of be here, but then it doesn't look too surprising that there's cobblestone here because it's on each side. Okay, so I actually like that quite a bit. So then what if we kind of continue this going up? Or maybe we don't do cobblestone at all, actually, because I still want the wood to be showing, and that just looks kind of weird going from, yeah, no, so maybe we don't do that. Maybe we do go wood there, but does the cobblestone still look kind of weird? Honestly, maybe not. I think we're okay. So then what I would actually like to do is kind of go from here, do another layer of the stone bricks, and then maybe here we go with a glass pane here, and then we'll do one more on the top up here, and then kind of wrap this around again. So something kind of like that, but honestly, it's kind of missing something. Maybe we introduce the cobblestone in the corners, maybe? It's a little bit too basic for me, this entire build. So let's see, maybe introducing some cobblestone in the corners would work. That isn't terrible, I won't lie. So let's quickly see how we want to do the roof first, because I kind of don't know. I think I do want to do a more wood roof, so we are going to be making some what I call stairs. Now, to be honest, I'm kind of just thinking that we do entirely stairs for the roof, maybe, or maybe we go kind of what we did with the last house, right, where we kind of go wood here along the edges, right, and then maybe we go slab in the middle, maybe, like maybe then in here we go slab. Okay, you see, I don't mind that, but I definitely don't love how little like it kind of just feels like the wood is just kind of coming out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? So maybe we could actually grab some of the planks and maybe we introduce the planks on the side over here. Now, honestly, the problem that I'm kind of having with this house is it kind of just looks like it's a basic villager house. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just looks a little bit too basic. So maybe this is where we get a little bit creative. So I might need to take some of these. So maybe we can get a little bit creative with this. So what if we start putting the walls there, which kind of looks cool. And then I do like the idea of putting that in the corner, only because it actually doesn't connect, which oddly enough, I do kind of like. Now, the one problem that I have is, does that just look a little bit weird? Because I could see it looking a little bit kind of goofy. Okay, so you might not be able to tell, but we did actually put buttons here. I think that does help just a little bit more. So here, if we make some more buttons, if we put them on the side over here, yeah, let's get rid of these really quick. Okay, I definitely think that does help, but I still feel like something is missing. I don't know if I like the walls being here. Okay, here's a bit of a weird question. Is less more in this situation? Because maybe we do want to go with more basic houses, because my thought process is, if this is supposed to be like a fisherman kind of village, riverside like area here, right, kind of just for trade, then I guess it would honestly make a lot of sense for this area to not be like, you know, with the richest of resources. I mean, historically speaking, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure those kind of fishermen riverside villages weren't exactly the richest of the bunch. So it would kind of make sense that they would have a little bit more basic of houses. Honestly, maybe that is the solution. Okay, so it doesn't look that bad, honestly. I actually kind of like that idea. Now, one thing that I really want to try as well, and I'm only going to give myself 64 blocks in total to do this, which means I'm going to have to use it for the entire village, which I think is going to be pretty doable. I want to try and incorporating some of the cracked stone bricks in here as well. So maybe just a little bit on like the sides over here. So like maybe we can do like, you know, a couple there, right? Heck, even if we do one on each side, I still think that does look quite nice, and then we can even put this one kind of there, right, a little bit more hidden. And yeah, I think that I like that a lot more. I think it's kind of really subtle, but I actually really do like it. Alrighty, I have returned, and all of the houses behind me, as you can see, have been completed. Now, I really enjoy the way that these look. I think that they are, I think like I was talking about the less is more, I actually kind of like it. It does really feel like it is kind of like a fisherman's village. Now, one thing that I would like to start off by doing is actually replacing any torch here with some lanterns, except for the inside. I do have a torch in each of the insides of the houses, but I don't really want to have to worry about about that. That's just there so that they can obviously, like, you know, not have mobs spawn inside of them. But yeah, on the outside, I'm going to once again replace all of these with lanterns. And then I think I want to actually start off by connecting each of these houses together like so. And I just absolutely need to replace the block underneath of this with the cobblestone as well. That is just one of those things that really annoys me. If you guys are also builders, I'm sure that you guys have dealt with this as well, because yeah, that little detail there, it's very noticeable. All right, so now that everything is pathed up, we're gonna need to do something. I actually need to go get more wood because I'm actually completely out of the logs and the planks. I only have one more left. But what I would actually like to do is on the edge of the island here, going all the way down, I want to replace it with the oak planks, kind of just like wrapping this entire place around. And then what I would like to do is fence off everything here. So again, we're gonna need a lot more. But then what I would actually like to do is kind of have two openings. So I would actually like to have one kind of be maybe around right here potentially. So what I'm thinking of doing is kind of this path here, bring this kind of all the way down to here. Maybe not to here per se, but then just kind of going something kind of like this. And then the idea being that right here, kind of in between these two posts actually, right here. So I might actually purposely just move this over by one right here, because the idea that I'm thinking of doing is kind of right here, having like a small little entrance here for any boats that we want right here, right? So we can kind of just have some boats kind of just sit right here. We can actually make more and a different variety of boats too, but we can kind of just have a bunch of boats like sitting right here, right? Just like, you know, waiting to be traveled. And then what I would actually like is I do have a lot of barrels here. I kind of want to have a couple openings in the area here, kind of where you would just have like a little bit of like a barrel here where you can, you know, go fishing and whatnot. Actually, I think I want the barrel to go like that. Yeah. Alrighty, I have returned, and as you can see, we have done the entire siding over here. Now you can actually see that on this side, as you can see over here, we have the full kind of planks going all the way down. Over here we have it kind of stopping here. That's because I don't really know if I want to put mud blocks here. I want to, oh man, that is kind of weird. Okay. Over here you can see that we did do the mud blocks over here. I really want to eventually do this entire like area here and kind of include this little spot here, but I don't know if I want to do it right here because I like the kind of rockiness of the cave. I don't know. So, or the underwater cave. So I'm kind of wanting to leave it. Plus anyway, besides in the story, it does technically make sense. Stone is, you know, like good enough to hold this up, so it's kind of okay for now. Now I did leave a big kind of hole here in the fence for the boats here. That's kind of what I was thinking of doing. Originally I was also going to put one on the other side over here, kind of going in the back over here, but I kind of want to focus this area on the fisherman spots. So what I would like to do is kind of have little holes in between here, right? Maybe just like 1 block holes, that way they can go fishing, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe we even replace those with fence gates actually. Okay, yeah, let's see how it would look if we put fence gates here instead, because I don't love the kind of holes in it, but fence gates, you can open it and close it, but it still feels kind of connected. Oops, I did not want to put one here. Okay, I actually am liking that quite a lot more, honestly. Yeah, because honestly, when you look at it from afar, it honestly doesn't look like there's a gap in them and that's where you would go fish. But then you can go over here and it actually kind of does look kind of cool, even if you have all of them open. I might actually just open all of them, actually. So I think the last thing that I really want to do with this area, honestly, is probably just add in some bone meal and all that kind of stuff here. And then the final thing that I would like to do is put in some of these trees here. We're just going to do some classic oak to kind of bring back the kind of block that we're using the most in this village here. I do really much like that. Honestly, yeah, not too many trees, but I think it's good enough. Yeah, I definitely really like this area quite a lot, actually. And then one thing that I'm really happy of is that if we're looking at it from afar over here really quick, I'm just going to let my body kind of go into the water there. You can actually see part of it over there as well, which I really do like. Now, I had some more time to think. I think ultimately what I would really love to do is eventually turn this entire area into a village. I know we said that I don't really want to do too much terraforming with this side over here, and I still kind of don't, but if we could find a natural way of putting like a village like this over there without having like the stone walls here, I think could actually be really cool, and I would love to be able to do it, and then maybe even have the village kind of continue up this way into the massive village that we were talking about over here. This is kind of my first time doing a mega project project like this. Like usually every time I do the villages over here, I usually just do it building by building, see where I would like to go. But for this is kind of the first time where I actually know that I want to cover a big area. Like I actually know the size of the village that I want. It's just a matter of getting there. And look, this may be a very small village in comparison, you know, just that in compared to this entire thing. But look, I think every single mega project should be taken kind of small little details and small little bites, I guess you could say, so that you don't overwhelm yourself. And honestly, I think that we are doing just a fantastic job so far at doing that. I also just had one more thought. Whilst I enjoy the kind of cliffside area right here, I kind of want your opinions on this as well. Do you guys think I should just completely get rid of the cliffside area here? Because I think it could actually be kind of cool actually to, if I land somewhere just a little bit safe so I can go into free cam, I think it would be kind of cool to just have the entire area here, like this thing, keep going down, right? Maybe not going all the way down into the ocean. We would still probably have some cliffs, don't get me wrong. I'm just kind of thinking right around here, instead of it going back up, we kind of continue it going down, which would mean that we probably would end up probably right around here. So there would still be a little bit of a cliff, but not as high as this. What do you guys think? Because I'm honestly kind of leaning more towards that, but again, that would be a lot of work. So unless you guys don't think we should do it, maybe I won't do it, but that is kind of what I'm thinking of doing. Alrighty, but that is going to be it for today's episode here of G1's Adventure. Let me know in the comments, how did you guys enjoy this video? Do you guys enjoy having the little time lapses in? Do you guys not really care? Let me know. I'm trying to get better with these videos. As you guys know, I'm trying to make this my career. I always say this, I know, but I just want you guys to know how much I love you guys for watching this video and supporting. If you guys enjoyed, consider throwing a like in the comments section down below, and also just leaving a like on the video as well, and consider subscribing and sharing this video with your friends and family. I'm hoping to get to at least 600 subscribers by the end of this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.